what I and, the spiritual companions who are like in positions of power and authority, what do we sit and discuss? So this is the second video. I thought we will make it available, and you have been so gracious to allow me to share this. So with your permission, I would love to start our conversation.
Please go ahead.
Yes. So I like to begin with this beautiful observation that you had shared. I remember, I hope you remember that you shared the story about, during your time, when you caught hold, or, some of the cops who were working under you, they caught hold of a boy who had actually hit a grandmother or the grandfather, particularly in the head with a stick. And later, when they investigated, they found that the boy's parents were divorced, and the boy hit the grandfather in the head only because the grandfather had refused to give the money, by knowing that he's asking for buying drugs, basically. I hope you remember the story, sir, that you shared with me. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
and it was very, very heart touching for me. And also, it gave me a great feeling that certain people, when they take a decision not to marry, obviously, they are really doing a great goodwill or good things to the world, especially to themselves and to the world by and large. Because if you look at it, and as we were discussing the last time, who has to be held actually responsible? And we both rightly agreed that if the parents had perceived, or the parent would have uh, associated with one another in a more sensible manner, understanding the full fabrics of what marriage means, and it would not have impacted the child in this manner where he had to literally draw himself or force himself toward drugs. And somewhere it also leads to one very, very revealing aspect, that somewhere, a lot of people are getting married only because the society is forcing them to get married. I know a lot of women who come to my workshops. They are in positions of power and authority, and somewhere they have forced themselves into marriage, and they don't feel that the marriage is working good. They're taken divorce and it's not working good for them. Somewhere, there are neurosurgeons. Recently I had shared this with you. She feels bad that she is not married, and she is feeling there is some problem in her horoscope, and she feels constantly miserable despite her qualifications, despite her earnings, despite her social stands in the society, that she's at par, with any man today. She's qualified and she is earning well for herself, and somewhere she feels that for her it is okay to not be married. She just wants the right person in her life, and they want to be together, and they don't want to enter into a state of marriage because of various pros and cons with it. But somewhere her parents feel that every time a relative comes, they are asking, तुम्हारी बेटी का शादी नहीं हुआ, is your daughter not getting married? And somewhere the pressure and that burden is eating her away. So I thought, when they say, even in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, that the people in the top most positions of power and authority, whatever they advocate, the whole world will actually naturally start following it. And you were very gracious, sir, when you made the statement that marriage is not very essential for everyone. It's an individual choice that needs to be taken. And somewhere from there, I would like to have your thoughts.
What are your ideas about marriage? What do you think? What does a marriage mean?
Sir, I mean, for me, marriage is a commitment, and it's a commitment of bringing a life into the planet. It's also about nation building, because nation building cannot happen without educational qualification, without people getting into jobs. And somewhere, when people are marrying, they are somewhere giving themselves a deep commitment that they want to prioritize certain things and certain aspects much more than themselves. That means if a person has to become has to get into marriage, they need to keep their freedom at bay, and they need to look at everything in a more holistic manner. It's not for the people whom freedom is of utmost priority. What do you think about it, sir? And please
Now
begin
you
from
see,
that story that you shared.
yeah, yeah. Now you see, for any young male and female, there is a natural attraction for each other. And it is but natural that the males as well as the females feel attracted to each other. Now, when a male and a female feel attracted to each other, the society at large, it has provided a system of recognizing their coming together. And this recognition of a male and a female coming together is being known or declared as marriage of these two persons. And the main purpose of this marriage is, apart from many other things, see, the attraction is bound to result into natural its repercussions. And the natural repercussions are welcome. In fact, that is the purpose of continuing the society. If a male and a female comes together and they give, right, as you rightly said, birth to a third person, a third feature, maybe a boy or a girl, whatever it is, that is, you see, the discharging their responsibility and binding them together and expecting that they will come together, they will live together and see that the child born becomes much better than what they are. That is in nutshell what the marriage is. And this recognition, because you may come together, male and female may come together, they may have relations, they may call themselves as we are having a living relationship, etc. But you cannot prevent the natural outcome of a male and a female coming together. It is but natural for a woman to feel that she must have a child. And if she wants to have a child, she also wants that the child is having a recognition, having a place for itself in the society, and the society respects the child as well as the parents. So that is the, what I would say, sum and substance of the persons coming together and the society recognizing it. And that is why, say, a man and a woman may come together and start living with each other. But if it is not recognized, if the people around, they are not declaring or they are not recognizing you as a husband and wife, then both feel awkward. And this awkwardness is what keeps on pinching both. You may declare that I am having a relation with X and Y, but the society does not give the same look at such persons as it would to a person who is husband and wife and say that we are married and we are together. So that is the crux of the how the society looks at you. And his perception about yourself from the society keeps the person satisfied, happy, or otherwise. I hope I am clear about it.
Yes, yes, very much, very much.
Just a minute. Hello. जरा थोड़ा वेळ फोन कर दो. Okay. Yes.
No, no, you are given a very perfect example about what marriage is, but I am bringing you back to this, whole theme of our conversation.
Hello. सर थोड्या वेळाने फोन करतो सर. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm bringing you back to our theme of this conversation that, as you said, people are recognizing, male and a female coming together, and when marriage happens, it's a social recognition, which is a very righteous thing, as you said, sir. And again, when two people come together, and, as you said, that, a majority of the women, want to become mothers. Now, these thoughts are slowly, residing away, in certain women's minds, which I'm seeing very, very clearly when they are becoming aware that they don't want to go through the pain and suffering and, of delivering a child. and they are seeing increasingly that a lot of children are going and leaving their parents and going to foreign countries. Correct me if it is wrong. And they want to invest the time and energy in their life by their choice. And somewhere, they want to, as per the legal framework of the constitution, whatever it has provided, they want to, be with a certain man or be with a certain woman together. And some people are absolutely fine that they may not be like Swami Vivekananda, but obviously, or like Adi Shankaracharya, or like Swami Ramana Maharshi, but they may feel that, okay, I'm earning about 40,000 rupees a month right now, and it's fine for me as an individual. Such kind of people, when they are forced into marriage, a situation as the story that you have said, like this, there are many number of stories, as you can see, which has drastically impacted the lives of the next generation, that is the children. And somewhere, when people have become more attuned to what the society is saying, and keeping aside what is good for them and what is bad for them as an individual, because obviously he is an individual or she is an individual who is coming into the field. So if the social noise is playing more on their head, somewhere isn't the society also becoming more guilty of forcing them into such kind of situations? And I want to listen from you, for what kind of people marriage is not important, sir?
Well, you see, unfortunately, you have only read or listened to the stories which are perhaps you are selecting out of the context. There are also large number of stories where the women who have been having a relationship and staying together in the living relationship, etc., for years, they have filed cases with the law enforcing authorities, complaining that they have been cheated, they have been raped, and these kind of complaints they keep on making after their relationship obviously has broken. They say that I was promised that we will enter into marriage, and therefore from this relationship I was having my affair, but now the person has left and he doesn't take any responsibility. Now, you see, this is the typical, you can say, dilemma before all these persons. Now, as I said, a man and woman coming together, having relation, there is nothing wrong, provided they also are ready to take the responsibility. If you are not going to take the responsibility and only saying that the woman is free to do what she wants, or she should undergo abortions, well, the woman does not think so. She feels that she is having relation for reproductivity, and she feels that it is but her natural right to expect that the person with whom she has had the relation will also come forward and shoulder the responsibility. The main crux is whether the males, they are ready to take the responsibility. I can understand, you see, you are earning 40,000 or 30,000 or 50,000 is a secondary thing. Main thing is you take the responsibility. As you know, see, these are the world famous sculptures in Ajanta, Verul. Now, you might have heard this place called Ajanta.
Yeah, very much.
Now, in Ajanta, at the very beginning, in the front itself, there is a sculpture which shows there is a person having or carrying a great weight on his shoulder and his head. And he is totally crumbled, he is totally broken, he is not even able to walk properly because of the shoulder, because of the responsibility, or because of the whatever weight he is carrying on himself. Then there's a next frame which shows that there is the same person. Now he is having a wife with him, and both this husband and wife, they have taken this responsibility or taken this weight on the heads of both of them, and both of them are standing erect, smiling, happy, and walking with confidence. Now, this is a message which has been portrayed or conveyed thousands of years ago by the sculptor, rightly indicating that an individual, whether it is a male or a female, alone, they are usually broken down under the heavy weights that they have to carry in the life. However, when they come together, this 1 plus 1, instead of becoming 2, it becomes 1 plus 1 equal to 11. And this couple then is able to discharge heaviest responsibilities, heaviest weights happily, and they have no complaint about it at all. Now, a child going to, say, abroad, or it's a totally separate feature, separate subject, which we can discuss in another interview or another conversation. Because when you are encouraging your children to study in excellent institutes and giving them better and better degrees, naturally they would like to go some other place. They would like to further improve their whatever chances, and there is nothing wrong in it. The children are being trained or taught by the parents not to become kind of a feature which will prevent them from their progress. The parents are happy that the child is progressing. He may be with them, may not be with them. After all, a grown-up child cannot be expected always to be with the parents.
Yes, sir.
He's bound to
Absolutely.
go, sir.
With
Bound to go
your
somewhere.
permission, sir, with your permission, I just want to just add one point to your ongoing, words of wisdom. With your permission, may I?
Yeah, please.
So this particular thing, what you said, that a lot of parents, definitely feel happy for their children. They don't have any other options, which I feel particularly that I have seen, because they will feel guilty that if they are feeling jealous of their children. But deep down, when if you are sitting, because a person like you, when he sits with lots of parents, you will come to know how much they feel extremely bad that their children are not even able to give them a little bit of time. I've seen fathers who are, scientists, who just literally cried that, their children are not even spending time with them. And that's the same with any number of people. Now, a lot of youngsters, especially the millennials, somewhere are beginning to see what's happening, in a lot of people's lives. They are also able to observe that they themselves, how they are treating their parents, and they do not want to be treated like that back by their children. And as you said, sir, very rightly, definitely, I am much aware about, the people who are living together also. As you said, somebody, girls have put cases, like she teams have received cases. In families also, they have been putting cases. Growing number of cases are happening. Everything is happening. But I strongly believe in one very important aspect, which is probably missing today, is clarity of approach in people's lives. And somewhere, a hypnotized framework of mind which says people that this is only the way of life, there is no other way of life, probably could be, derailing people into situations which may not be in their control. Like, for example, marriage 100 years before, how it was conducted, now how it is conducted, the terms and the conditions of the marriage, the unsaid terms and conditions of the marriage 100 years before and now, don't you see a phenomenal difference that is happening? And also, when you, as I humbly, share this in front of you, the access to freedom, the access to independent mindset, largely comes with with an ability to earn their own, food and butter, bread, butter, and shelter, especially. And today, when a large number of people are in a position to earn their own food, their own shelter, somewhere the choices have grown increasingly, for them. And they feel particularly that, I'm talking in particular, not in context of a man and a woman, in particularly the society, the way, it is looking at people who are not married, and they want to live on they are happy, they are following the rules and regulations of the law, they are doing well for themselves, somewhere, forcing them into marriage when they are not even prepared. As you said, if a man is not willing to take the responsibility, and why alone the man, today a lot of women, Maybe you might have not come across them, sir, but I come across any number of women like that. They do not want to become a mother at all, and somewhere they feel that the society is looking down upon them simply because they are not a mother. The point is, do you feel somewhere the society, in one way or the other, is forcing people into enter into a dangerous contract of marriage and producing children, like the example that you have given, the child who has gone into drugs, the child who has hit the grandfather. And somewhere, if we look down upon, the boiling reason, the cause is the parents who have got married and not understanding what marriage is, and somewhere they have forced themselves into marriage, produced kids as a consequence of that, and the result has been a wounded child. So could this all be
I
avoided
see.
if we give
Yeah,
them
yeah.
space?
Yeah, yeah. Now, see, there are now new scientific advancements. Now, as you are aware, many women who are particularly employed or for some other reason, they are not in a position to bear the child or they don't want to have a child. But at the same time, the family wants to have a child. And therefore, this concept of surrogate mothers has come up in a very big way. And increasingly, people are preferring to have a surrogate mother and surrogated child. Also, there are many persons who are feeling that they should have, they are adopting children from the orphanage, and they are looking after them also very well. They are quite happy, and they feel that they have discharged the responsibility very well. So there are ways and means of how you look at it, because having a child for various reasons, people feel it gives them a sense of satisfaction. Now, whether it should be or should not be, it's an individual choice. If you want to have child, as I said, this new advancements in scientific area like surrogate mother, etc.,
Exactly,
they
sir.
are
It should be an
available.
individual choice. But what about the society which is looking down on women who are not interested in having children and they are not interested in marriage? What kind of people should enter marriage, sir, according to you? And is it okay for people to not be married also? That is what I want to know from you. I want to hear the
No, what
golden
I
words from you.
no, no, very true, very true. You see,
Because
the everything has got a
when people like you who are in the highest pedestals of the society, I always feel I have learned a lot from you, sir. When it has helped me, I have said this any number of times in the stages when I have been doing workshops in the National Police Academy. Also, that Praveen Dikshit sir and several other officers, they are like my mentors. They are like my spiritual elder fathers or elder brothers whom I learned a lot from. And certainly, I feel that when people like you, that when I met you the last time, maybe a week back, I think so. We met in your home, right, sir? Maybe a week back, I guess. On the 13th of this month, we met, and what you said, that it is not essential for everyone. And let's say for a person like me, who has taken an individual decision, who is not to marry and to be in good harmonious relationship and love, and there are any number of people like that. What is your advice for people like who are taken this bold stand against the society, and also why they should not be feeling bad about what the society is telling? What can they do to not feel bad about what the society is telling, and why the society what it is telling is also not right? Because forcing them is
no.
also not a
First of
right
all,
thing.
no, no. First of all, I would say, suppose if you are having a relationship, then the person with whom you are having a relationship, you should understand and argue with each other and come to a sensible decision that whether, okay, to start with, you are having a relationship. Now, after maybe understanding each other, maybe for 6 months, maybe for 1 year, maybe for 2 years, then is it not the right time for both of you to, now there are many examples in Western society. We find that at the time of marriage, the children of the such persons who were living together, they were also present. In our side, it appears to be little a strange thing, but that shows that even in the Western field, Western areas, people having stayed together for years together and having relation and having children, they have come to a conclusion that now it's a time when they should declare that they are married. So similarly, here also, for the heck of it, that we will live together, but we will not declare that we are married. That is, putting the other person on a threat. The other person feels always threatened. Rather than that, because see,
when two
marriage
people are
brings along
feeling
with it.
when two people are feeling, sir, that they are okay, and they have decided that they don't want to marry, and it's a very individual choice that they have taken, and they are there in relationship for the last 10 years like that, and they are quite happy, and society keeps
That's what I'm
put.
saying. That after 10 years, but if they feel that they should declare that they are married, they should not have any hesitation to do so. Okay, for last 10 years you did not marry, but stayed together. Okay, the society kept on objecting it, perhaps neglecting it or whatever it is. But after 10 years, you feel that now it's a time you have understood each other. You are having a child, and in the interest of the child, as well as in the interest of the everyone, you feel that now you should declare your marriage and say that we are married. What is wrong in it?
Sir, what kind of people marriage is not important, sir? Who are the people who should not be marrying, according to you?
Now, you see, first of all, I would say, you see, there are different type of persons. Number one is those who are completely monks, or those who are resigned to the societal or material pleasures, and they have come to a conviction that they don't want to have any marriage or any relationship. That is a one set. Now, such persons are very few. In fact, every religion, it is now increasingly revealing whether you are working as a father in Christianity, whether you are working as mullahs, maulavis, or whether you are working as a monks. Now, these persons from different religions, I'm not saying only one religion, you take the name of any religion. Now they are having physical relationship with the opposite sex. And that has resulted into a lot of objectionable things. And that has also brought down the name of their particular, whatever religion they were having. So even I would say, because the religion also does not say that you should not be marrying at all. The religion, in fact, keeps on saying that you should marry together. So that is number one. Now, number two is, suppose there is somebody who says that, oh, I was discharging. There are many women who say that I was discharging the responsibility of my siblings, my little brothers, sisters. The parents had died, or the father had died, or something, and she was the only person who was the bread earner. So she has carried on the responsibility and taken the load on herself, and decided that she will not enter into marriage. Fine. Same may be the case of the males also. The male person might have thought that for him it is his responsibility to look after all his brothers, sisters, their marriages, etc. And therefore he will not enter into marriage. And accordingly he has taken the decision. Fine. There is no problem in it. So what I am coming to is that if there is no such person, or if there is no such burden on you, and you feel that only because it may obstruct your career, or you feel threatened that perhaps whatever money you are earning is not enough for you or for looking after the children, etc. That is the area which is gray area. That is the area where I feel you should not choose the path of escapism. Face it. You see, because money is a secondary thing. Money is important, but it is not the only thing. If you don't have money, that does not mean that you will not be able to earn something for yourself as well as for your family. There have been hundreds and thousands of examples where even poor people have come together and they are having their family and they have discharged their responsibility very well. So to say that just because I'm career oriented and I don't have time and I don't have money and therefore I should not have
But
marriage,
why
I
should
should
we
not.
not consider those statements which are made as a very wise statement, and why should we put them into the bracket of escapism, sir? I'll just give you one example. As I told you, I know many people who are earning around 40,000 to 50,000 rupees. in the as they are 6 to 7 years, when they work slowly, they start progressing and start making 40 to 50,000 rupees. Even today, a lot of engineering students, the first package that they're getting is about 6 lakh rupees in tier 2 colleges, or in tier 1 it has increased to more, like they're getting 20 lakh packages and all in IITs and triple ITs, and NITs is also doing well like that. So just coming back, that let's say a person is earning 50,000 rupees, and that person has an independent house. His parents have left an independent house. Parents are well to do, they are earning their food and shelter, and let's say that he's the only person, he's the only son over there. Maybe he may have a sibling also, but since I'm talking about an individual choice here, and that person is earning around 50,000 rupees, and he wants to work for about 5 years, let's say he's working, on an average he will be able to save 30,000 rupees every month, because he is not having any responsibility of the child, forced responsibility in our context, because the society is forcing people to get married. So in the peer pressure, many people are getting married. But let's say this person has taken a decision of not marrying, he's able to save about 30,000 every month, and over a period of about 3 years he is having about 10 lakh rupees in his bank account, assuming that he's saving. Am I audible, sir, to you? Is my voice
Yeah, yeah.
audible? Yeah. So now, after 3 years, he decides to quit his job, and he wants to go for a tour in Europe. Now he will be very much able to do what he wants to do. Go, watch, see an Eiffel Tower, go to the places where he wants to go, come back, and he feels he's more happier and more joyful by taking this decision as an individual. But when it comes to a family, he cannot say that, okay, I will go and watch an Eiffel Tower. He has to save that 30,000 rupees for his daughter, he has to save that money for his son's education. And why should this not be an individual choice? So somewhere, when people at the highest pedestal like you, when you when you don't judge these kind of people, like for example, when they come into my workshop, I don't judge them. I say it's fine, maybe you have to battle with the society a bit, but it's fine, it's okay. At the most, what the society will say, it will tell that, अरे तेरे को शादी कर लेना चाहिए, at this age is the right age for you to get married. Who will be there to take care of you at the age of 60? You need somebody to go back to, when you are going back home. However, this is not as juicy as it looks like, because when they are having a child, the child cries, the child grows, we don't know what the child will grow into. So many kinds of gray areas are there, and if all these gray areas
See,
can be avoided.
all these, all these spheres which you are mentioning, they are more academic than, long ago, there was a poet called Kalidas. And now this Kalidas, he has made a beautiful couplet, which says that the king, he gives him a blessing. Says that, oh, my dear king, you should have three, what he calls as three pida, stu dine dine. Pida means troubles, you can say. Now, what are these three troubles which the poet says to the king? Now, first is that whenever you are having your food, the child is around you and he keeps on disturbing you. That is the first trouble, but which is actually not a trouble at all. You feel happy that the child is around and is nearby you.
But how,
The
sir?
second is that the second trouble which he says you should have is when you are sleeping, there is a woman by your side called your wife. So he says, let your wife keep on troubling you on all your nights. So that is the second trouble which he says that I am giving you as a blessing. And the third is that there should be continuous flow of persons coming to you, demanding that please give us this and please give us that, and you should be keep on giving them. So having a person who is constantly requesting you to come forward. Now these three, which he calls as a troubles, they are not troubles at all. They are actually pleasures. And therefore, they, in a very sarcastic manner, you can say, the poet has advised the king, what are the three real pleasures which he should be looking for. So whatever you mentioned as the trouble that the child, what he will do and what he will not do, etc. Well, that is always what the child will become. Nobody can predict. Even Brahmadev cannot say that what the child will become. That is always the destiny will decide, and let the destiny decide about it. That is how no big person has been born by saying that I will become big. It's only after hard efforts and circumstances which have helped him, the child has become to put his mark and has grown into a reputed person. So we don't have to foresee that tomorrow what will happen or something will go wrong and therefore today I will not do this, etc. That is not required at all. Let the course, let the destiny unfold itself as it is. You only keep on trying. You give your best efforts. That's all.
Sir, very true. The neuroscience very clearly talks about one very powerful cognitive distortion, which is causing lots of problem in people. And one of the very powerful cognitive distortion is generalization and negation. Negation of information and generalization. So it is very, very vital that, uh, what obviously the story, which is a very wise story, obviously the which I'm hearing from you, but it is definitely not a conclusive theme for everybody, isn't it, sir? That not everybody would enjoy when children are troubling them. Not everybody would enjoy being disturbed. Not everybody would enjoy that their children will leave them and go. And as you rightly said, destiny, yes, nobody even including Brahmadeva does not know what the future or what the destiny will unfold. I completely agree with you on that. There is no uh, no dispute or no contradiction to what you have said, particularly on this theme of destiny. However, when people try to go against destiny, I feel strongly they are entering into a war with destiny. And precisely, I feel that a lot of people are destined to remain happy when they are not getting married. And I'll give you one example that I know a couple, who have not got children, and then they go and adopt the children, and those adopted children have deserted them, cheated them, and taken away all the money and ran away. Somewhere the destiny felt that this couple should not have children. They have married according to the society, fantastic. Now it's for them as people to go together and progress as spiritual people, progression as a spiritual companions, they progress together. However, they went against the destiny to just prove to the world that we also have children, when they have to go and attend some parties or social get-togethers, and it's worked against them. So somewhere, as nobody knows what destiny is, I feel destiny also gives you a very, very subtle indication in terms of your internal comfort zones, where you begin to feel drastically comfortable. Like, I was doing a workshop with a group of IAS officers, senior IAS officers, and one of the IAS officers, his name is Mr. Janardhan Reddy, who is now serving as the chairman of Telangana State UPSC Commission. So he was there in several positions, and he said me, Karthik, do you know whom you call as a friend? I said, sir, I don't know whom I call as a friend because I don't have any friends as spiritual companions. And he said, yes, that's the thing I was speaking to you about. A spiritual companion is someone whom makes you feel good within, whose talks, when you just listen to their talks, your whole body feels at ease. When you look inside, you feel comfortable and you're not feeling threatened. Your feelings are feeling more at home when you are actually meeting and encountering such kind of people, which I feel, whenever we meet, we exchange so much of joy together, we exchange so much of information together. We don't talk about the gossips of the world. We speak something which are very, very vital for ourselves and to the humanity around. Right now, as this conversation, we would be speaking exactly like this when we are together, when even the camera is not being recorded. So lot of people, they feel comfortable when they are not married, they feel very, very comfortable when they are alone. So such kind of people, I feel their destiny has chosen them, not to be married, isn't it, sir? What are your thoughts on that?
No, what I would say is that, okay, if you have decided that you are not going to marry, then also you should not work as a pretension. You should be frank. Yes, this is my reason, and I have decided this path. And irrespective of what people may say or otherwise, I'm not going to change. However, at the same time, at any time, if you feel, a lot of people feel that at any time of their life, they feel that they have found their spiritual companion and they decide to marry. So you should be frank enough and accept that, yes, now I want to marry. And they marry. So just because you have said that you will not marry, even after finding a kind of cheating to yourself. There is no need for it. Be a normal person, like what Bhagwan Sri Krishna says. You see, in every person's heart, the Lord Bhagwan is residing. And you are only what he calls as a Katputli. It means you are a puppet. And the Lord is playing the game through his strings by making you up and down and jumping and running. Now keep on listening to the right advice, which is being given by your own heart,
Correct.
by your consciousness.
Correct, sir. You nailed it, sir.
That
You
is
nailed
called,
it.
that is called Vivek.
True, true.
So your Vivek or your consciousness, you should follow. Don't have resistance to it.
Correct.
If your Vivek keeps on telling you that yes, now you should marry, marry. If it tells you that no, for some reason you should not marry, don't marry. But be also frank enough to change that opinion as and when you feel that you should marry.
Very
That
true,
is
sir.
what I would say.
Very true. Actually, you raised a very interesting point, sir. And before we conclude, I want to say this, that such a very powerful point that you raised is about Vivekam and about, what Lord Krishna says. Very, very vital. That when consciousness speaks, when intelligence flowers. And intelligence flowers only when one is absolutely free from the noise of the society. And the noise of the society, to be freed, it is very, very important that people are with the right sangaha. Buddham sharanam gachami, sangam sharanam gachami. That right kind of companionship, the spiritual companionship is very vital. And therefore I feel everybody, as we conclude this talk, what I feel is people have to listen to their own inner voice, what it shows them. And very clearly, for a lot of people, the visuals of their Vivekam shows that marriage is not the right thing in their life, because they prioritize their freedom, they prioritize their happiness, they prioritize their independence, and they prioritize that they can contribute to the world in a much more larger way if they do not have any strings associated with them. Such kind of people who are able to listen to it from their own consciousness, and who are not wasting their time in alcohol, who are not wasting their time in cigarettes, who are not wasting their time in any kind of uh, unhealthy activities, should always listen to their Vivekam and should not be against their Vivekam by allowing the society's voices to come in. So for such kind of people, as I rightly take from you, marriage is not important. And for rest of the people, who do not have their own life, who do not know what is right for them, such kind of people should wait and not get married. And only the people, who are willing to take sacrifice as the far more, paramount responsibility in their life, must indulge in marriage. Is that right, sir?
No, I would only say, by saying one more thing, that see, whatever you say, if it is following the rules laid down by the society, well and good. If you want to go against them, then don't expect that you should be treated at par by the society. The society has its own norms and rules, and society wants them to be enforced. Now, if you still say that, no, I will not follow the rules and I will not abide by whatever the norms which are being prescribed, and still the society should accept me as a part of them, well, perhaps the society may not. That's all I would say and conclude it.
Very, very true, sir. Very true. But one more point I would love to add, to your wonderful point that you made is The society never came in between, when the grandfather was hit by this grandson. And the society has never even paid any care and attention, when those two people, as you said, the parents, got divorced. And like for a lot of people, society just
You
watches as a
see,
silent spectator, which becomes
so you
extremely
see,
dangerous.
eh, in fact, in marriage, there is one ceremony where once the husband and wife are declared as husband and wife, there is in olden days, they used to carry certain, what is known as where the grains, etc., are kept. So, kind of a basket. This basket is kept on the close relatives, so say 8, 10 close relatives who are nearby. And it says that it is now your responsibility to see that these two persons, they flourish and they blossom. So the responsibility is also on the society. It is not the individuals on alone where the responsibility is. All those who call themselves as close relatives, they have to constantly ensure that these two together remain happily and they enjoy the company of each other.
But that's not at all happening in any
So
relationship, sir. That is
not
unfortunate.
happening, not happening. Yeah,
It's
that is
unfortunate. What you said is very right.
yes.
Because why would anybody not want, sir, a good life? You tell me. Why would anybody be against a great life? Because meeting and having
Correct.
hundreds of people around you is a great feeling because it releases oxytocin. But what happens is after a little release of oxytocin, there is a larger release of cortisols which are taking place because somewhere constantly people are comparing themselves with the neighbors and feeling very miserable. Their children are being hit very badly because hit literally physically hit badly simply because their neighbor's son is able to perform a dance art which their son is not able to perform. So if this kind of a very pathetic situation that people have got into, I feel somewhere it will be very better off if these people are not married because they're doing a great service to the society by large.
Good.
So very good wishes, sir.
Let us have, yeah, yeah.
I think
Let
this
us
is a
keep
very
on
lengthy
having,
topic. I think it will have part one, part two, part three, part four, part five, and maybe at the end of part five, I feel we all millennials will have your voice more echoing with us.
good, good.
Good wishes, sir.
So thank you very much.
It's always a
Yeah, thank
pleasure
you.
meeting you. Good day.
Thank you. Thank you.